Hi everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Shiko, and if you're coming here for the first time, you're so much welcome. If you're returning, thank you so much for returning, and happy new year to everyone. My YouTube channel is all about my personal journey, healing from trauma and being self-aware of who I am as a person. And I do these videos because I know that they could help somebody, even though it's just one person. And it's also a mission, to show people that it's okay not to be okay. And I'm also very passionate about mental health awareness. So you're very, very, very welcome, and thanks for joining me. So today we are going to talk about trauma, you know, because trauma is a very huge part of every human being. At some point in life, you will have to go through trauma. If you have not gone through it, you have to go through traumatic events, like loss of job, maybe rape, maybe emotional abuse or physical abuse or mental abuse. Yeah, there are people who mentally abuse other people, and sometimes it can be a loss of a relationship, like the end of a relationship. It can be death of a loved one. It can be trauma can come through a lot of things. It can be through grief and yeah. So the reason why I'm talking about this is because I'm very passionate about it. Trauma has a way of changing anybody, and sometimes the change is not very positive. There are some people who experience very positive change, but most of the time trauma makes you it affects you in a very negative way. So I myself I have been through a very traumatic event in my life that really changed me completely. I have Prior to that season or that time of my life, I had gone through little bits of trauma here and there. Traumatic that is traumatic events here and there. But there's one particular one that really changed my life for forever. And having to live with myself after that time was a really difficult thing. I won't lie about that. I have had to go through therapy just to be able to navigate, the person that I was after that traumatic situation. So one thing that I would like to say is that there is a person who existed before the traumatic event, right? There was Ashiko who was there before whatever changed my life happened. And then there is Ashiko who existed now after that traumatic event happened in my life. So one thing that I had to come in terms with and to have peace with is that there are there were two different there are now two different people that are one person. And the one thing that I find very misunderstood is that anybody who has gone through trauma has two personalities to them. Because there is that person who existed before the traumatic event, and now there is that person who survives the traumatic event. And those are two different people. They are one people, but they are now different people. Because number one, the person who existed before the trauma happened was a very self-confident. They were go-getters. They were like nothing can stop them, right? And then now after the traumatic event, now there comes another person who is very self-conscious because of the trauma they have had to endure. Sometimes they are very unconfident, very insecure, very not very self-aware of who they are as a person. And so if you're going through trauma, the most important thing for you to do first of all is to actually recognize that you have been through something very traumatic. And after you recognize you have been through something traumatic, the other thing is to accept. You have to accept that you are not the same anymore. You're not the same person. The mistake that a lot of people do is to actually move on with life like you're the same person. You are not the same person. Something about you changed. Something about you was lost. Something about you took a turn. Like I would say like a 360-degree turn. And once you realize that, oh my god, I am not self-confident like I used to before. I am wounded, I am broken, I need something to reassure myself every single time that I'm on the right path or I'm doing the right thing. And that is the first important thing, is to recognize that you are not the same person. Then after that, after you recognize that you're not the same person, the other thing you need to do is try to think of who you are then before the trauma, and now who you are. Try to find out who you were then before the trauma, the traumatic thing happened, and who you are now after the traumatic thing happened. You can even write it on like a piece of paper, or like on your journal, or even like in your diary. Try to think of, okay, no, this is me. So what was I before whatever happened in my life happened, and what am I after whatever happened in my life happened? So when you write those things down, like maybe let's say before the trauma you are very courageous, and right now you are very insecure. Write that I was courageous, I'm insecure. And then also write you're very confident. Now your confidence is lost, right? You're very communicative, now you're not very communicative. Write all those things, and then the next step is, after writing those things, you need to learn how to live with those two personalities, right? Because you realize the person who has been through trauma, they start becoming very insecure. Sometimes they will raise their voice, sometimes they will be moody. People call them moody. It's and very rightfully so. It could be a mood, but it's because nobody understands maybe what you're processing through at the moment, because you realize that you are triggered by some specific things, which we'll talk about that on another video. But you need to learn how to live with the two personalities. If sometimes you feel like you're getting angry because of a certain situation, you need to realize, where is this anger coming from? Is it because of the person who has now had to survive trauma? So you have to like sit down and think to yourself, like, okay, why is my anger coming out? Why am I being so angry? And you have to balance yourself out, because you can be angry in that moment, and then in the next, then the cool, calm, corrected person then comes over, and then somebody is thinking that, oh my God, why is this person not so consistent? So you need to learn. And if you have seen somebody with such kind of thing, or such kind of imbalance of emotions, don't judge them. Don't start telling them, oh, you are moody and everything. No. First, would you like really get to know why is that person being like that? Because if they open up and tell you the stuff they have been through, you might as well as understand them, where they are coming from. So be kind to one another. Be kind to other people. Also, if you're going through trauma, be kind to yourself. Just one thing that trauma does is that it makes you blame yourself. It makes you hate yourself. It makes you think something you could have done something to avoid what you went through, and in the real sense there is nothing you could have done to avoid what you went through. So be very conscious about blaming yourself, thinking to yourself that you're a failure and you can never get anything right. It's very important for you to just learn to know that whatever happened, and you had no control over it. What you have control over is how you react to things, and to people, and to your emotions. That is what you have control over. And so I really hope that this video helped you, and it gave you clarity on some issues. I am not an expert. I'm only sharing what I have had to go through and have had to endure, and tips also of how that that I've learned to get through it. I'm still going through it every single day, but I am doing this with the hope that it will help somebody, at least even though it's one person. So if you think this video is going to be very helpful to somebody else who is going through trauma, or is needs to understand whatever they are going through in life, please share it. And they will get help, and I will also appreciate. And if you have something to comment, please comment in the comment section, and also like this video. And please tell me what else you would want clarity about, especially on the topic of trauma. It's a very huge topic, but I'll keep on talking about it in bits and bits. And I hope that you will get the help that you need. This year we need to work in self-confidence and self-awareness, and being aware of what we really need help on. So thank you so much for joining me. Like this video, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. God bless.